What is up, Nintendo Land? Welcome to Nintendo Open Air Podcast. Rumors and leaks, the fuel for any Nintendo-based Twitter account, the bane of secretive Nintendo, and of course, what all the fans are chattering about, including us. This past week has brought some interesting rumors and leaks, and oddly enough, some of them have already proven themselves to be true. We'll be taking a look at what leaks have been confirmed so far, and of course, maybe making a few rumors of our own. So stay tuned. It's going to be an interesting trip through Nintendo Land this week. All right, we're going to start out tonight with a rumor that turned out to be true. A Nintendo Direct, of sorts, did indeed drop in the form of the European Indie Highlights reel, or more of a video, which of course is to line up with Gamescom going on this week. So, as I always ask, how many people actually watched the video?
I did not.
I think you speak for all of us.
Yeah, I forgot.
I didn't even attempt to. I was really surprised. Nintendo Life dropped a video on their YouTube channel that morning that was like, Nintendo Direct expected later today. And they're like, we have every reason to believe that this is a real thing. And I was like, and they don't usually do stuff that speculative. And I was like, really? Nintendo's not even announcing it? They're just going to drop one? And then I was like, oh, it's basically just an indie sizzle reel. But it did bring some stuff that, like Morphie's Law, which has been missing in action for months, is out now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some rumors going around Twitter that there was big news coming soon. They even showed an icon for the game. And then, like, 2 days later, oh yeah, we're releasing it today. No warning, no hype up to it.
Yeah.
Just there it is. I think
it'll sink like a stone.
Yeah, totally. Hey, it's finally done, guys. Here you go.
we were all kind of looking forward to that and thinking about it. I think before we forgot about it for what?
Yeah.
How long has it
A
been?
year.
6 months. Yeah.
I guess all their advertising and hype got used up last year.
Pre-Fortnite, this might have been a pickup.
Yeah. If it wasn't for Fortnite, we probably would have been getting this.
We'd have been just sick enough of Splatoon 2.
How much is it anyway?
It's $20 US. And unfortunately, it's got the little moniker on the website that it will require the Nintendo Online service in a month.
Is there a physical?
I don't think so, not yet. It's got to be out for like a year before it gets a physical one now on Switch.
I saw something about they were going to start releasing physical copies of some of these indie games, but not just physical copies, but also download cards.
Yeah, that's the way it's going to go eventually. Everything will just have download cards.
Yeah.
And I think the next step after that is there will be no store to go to buy a video game. It will all be online.
And I don't know if this was out of the same thing or not, but I know that the Messenger, which is one I've been looking forward to, is also supposed to release later this month. I think like the 30th or sometime around there, although it's launching also at a $20 price point, which is a little bit steep.
Yeah.
I mean, I could get one game, or I could buy a Nintendo Switch Online subscription.
Yeah, that's a good comparative point now for a year.
Yeah, for a year of online or a game for a lifetime. But yeah,
play for weeks.
I'll pick it up at some point.
I did look through a list of games that were featured and read some descriptions of them, and there was only really one game that stood out to me, and that was the Everspace Stellar Edition. I don't have any experience with this game or have ever heard of it prior to that list or prior to this highlights thing, but I did look it up, and it's on Steam, and it has fairly good reviews. So, but I fear
Came out in May of last year, so it's not too old, and it looks really pretty.
But it is $40 on Steam, and if it's $40 on or 30 or 40, I don't remember which.
30, yeah.
30. I fear how much it will be on Switch.
Yeah, I mean it'll probably be the same. They've been pretty good about keeping prices consistent between Steam and Switch so far for most of the stuff. The only thing is Steam gets a lot more and better sales than the Switch does.
Yep.
As far as discounts, but it's still hard for me to like commit to $30 on an indie game.
Yeah. It's hard for me to commit to $20 for an indie game. It really has to impress me.
Yeah.
Did that Okami game release also this past week or so?
I think Okami is out.
Yeah, that's out. It only got a physical release in Japan, and I have entered every contest I've seen to win that. But it's just an aside.
Do you want it physically?
Well, the physical version comes with lots of bonus content.
Oh.
Of course, that's mine.
Physically. And as just a little aside while we're talking about indies, I saw in the news that Bloodstained has now been delayed until 2019.
Wow. What number of delay is that? Is that the third big delay?
I don't know. I think it was supposed to come out originally last year. And then they were like, oh, we're going to delay it a little bit. By the way, Okami HD is $20 in the eShop. Let's put that into perspective. But
yeah,
it's a well-revered game, and that's $20.
Yeah, but that was from the Wii era.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. It felt like we were going to get somewhere with Bloodstained this year, being that they released a little mini game thing, which I really think they did that as a way to fund the main game. I'm still not convinced that they're not using that. That's not the reason that they released it, so they can fund the main campaign.
Are any of you guys invested in it financially? Kickstarter?
Yeah, I put money in.
When did you put money in? Was that 2015, 2016?
That would have been probably. I mean, it was Wii U. It was well before the launch of the Switch. It was probably 2015.
Wow.
Was that the one where they were like, they kept breaking their stretch goals and they were like, okay, we'll put one in for Wii U? Like, kind of late as an afterthought? I think it was.
Yeah, I think that their Wii U one, they kept smashing. Their Wii U one came later. Yeah, it wasn't one of the core ones.
But I gotta say, it's one of the most anticipated games since Mighty Number 9.
Yeah, you see how that turned out.
Yeah. Hopefully it's okay.
This is just other unrelated statement, I guess. But by the way, did you notice this is European, so I don't know if they use the same terms there. But this was called an indie highlight reel and not a Nindy.
Not an indie. Yeah, I did notice that. I was like, are they trying to get away from the Nindies thing?
That's what I'm wondering. I didn't know.
Nindies would be a great title to use for actual like Pushmo and stuff like that.
Yeah,
they're indie style Nintendo games.
I would like that.
Where's Pushmo? Damn it! Where's Box Boy?
They had a lot of franchises like that. I mean, they've done Dylan's kind of, but they had several games like that they could easily redo and put out on the Switch and keep fans happy.
I don't know if it was on the topic list tonight. I don't think, but we did get a release date too for Luigi.
That's right. Luigis Mansion.
Just a little bit. Well, it's coming. Is it October? I guess just in time for Halloween. I think
19th. Yeah.
So and it comes out like a week later, I think, in Europe. But so that'll be a
3DS.
thing. Yeah, 3DS. Be nice if it was on Switch. They could probably pull off like. I wouldn't mind seeing like some dual releases with like launches on 3DS and Switch. But that would require twice as many resources to do.
I just want to go ahead and stick in my thumbs up for that game. If you haven't played it, if it looks at least a bit interesting to you, definitely worth picking up. It's a classic.
Think it'll hold up?
I don't know how well it'll hold up, but it should.
Ruh-roh. Yeah.
It was fun to play on the GameCube, and I played through it at least twice. So.
Yeah. I know there's been a lot of fans. I'm just wondering if it's going to be one of those things where people are like, you know what? Maybe this game wasn't as great as I remembered. Boy, I sure liked it back then, though. I don't know. Mario 64, people seem to think holds up.
I was just thinking graphically if it was going to look awful on the 3DS.
It looked okay. Like it actually, the graphics, like in the side by sides that I saw, like when that first trailer hit, looked pretty faithful to the GameCube, which I was surprised that 3DS could pull that off.
Yeah.
Like you can tell there's differences and different things they've had to do to get like the same look in a different way, but it looked pretty good. So that's a thing. I don't know. They should be launching it with a Luigi's Mansion amiibo or some crap. But,
Ghost Luigi amiibo?
Yeah. Oh, what if they did the Reaper with dead Luigi and his plastic glow-in-the-dark soul coming out.
That would be brilliant.
That would be a better Club Nintendo statue, I guess.
By the way, every article I've seen about Luigi's Mansion concludes with, "We don't know if Luigi is dead or not. Nintendo will not release a statement."
Somebody on Twitter retweeted Nintendo's announcement of the Luigi's Mansion release date. They're like, I think it's wrong for them to exploit somebody's death like this.
Oh boy. Yeah, my oldest boy just in the spring got Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon and has been playing it. He hasn't beat it yet, but he's been enjoying it. So it's one of the ones on our list for, possibly by the end of the year, so at some point we'll pick up the original for him.
Maybe Santa Claus will
maybe
hop in the I never could get through the second one.
I finished the second one, but some of it is really, really difficult, or just I think it was poor gameplay mechanics from what I remember. Not fun. The online multiplayer, although it was terrible to try to get a connection. I don't know if any of us. It was a lot of fun.
I didn't, but there was somebody I used to talk to on Miiverse or something that was always trying to get Skyscraper games going on. And it was like year or two after Luigi's Mansion came out. I was like, you're still playing that? Like, I don't know is there a chat function in that or something?
I think it was similar to like a
text chat or something?
No, like an icon chat.
Oh.
I was thinking like what's the Link one where there was 3 links?
Oh, Triforce Heroes?
Triforce Heroes, thank you. My mind is, I've tried to erase that from my memory.
When's that coming to Switch? The Lost Zelda Classic.
That sounds like emoji chat to me, which I never understood.
Yeah.
Except you've only got 8 options to choose from.
Is one of them an eggplant?
I don't know.
No.
Then I don't need it.
What's with the eggplant comment?
That's a dick joke.
Oh. Never mind then.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't need to say anymore. Alright, next on our list was a game which got leaked a day early. And then basically they confirmed it the next day. So Diablo 3 Eternal Collection is indeed coming out.
You can thank the video game experts at Forbes Financial Magazine for that breaking of embargo. They released the information a little bit earlier. There was IGN had actually said, they're like, man, it really sucks when something like that happens, when you've got the information and you can't release it, and then another company beats you to the thing by breaking embargo.
We were actually talking about this before the podcast started. I know for like Fortnite news and different things, I actually went to Forbes' website, which has good coverage, which is weird.
Yeah, like I said, I'll bet you a Fortnite article gets way more clicks than anything on the Dow Jones.
Definitely.
Those people might still be using paper, like newspaper. Probably not. They probably use the internet, but nobody uses Forbes. But yeah, I just recently noticed, I noticed it over the last few years, but now it seems like anytime you look up anything video game related, Forbes is one of the top things that pops up. And I'm just like, should I be going to Forbes for my video game news? But hey, it's there.
There, and they seem to be good at it.
They're on
Yeah,
it.
what
Except
they're
for
talking
now, they're
about.
never gonna. Except for now, they're never gonna get information again because they broke an embargo. I wonder. I'm sure there has to be some shit rolling downhill on the back end of that, where Nintendo's like, I guess we're not gonna release information to you guys anymore.
I was just thinking of somebody at Forbes saying they put embargoes on video games. Really?
Yeah, I mean, but it's like the next day there was a video, which it was kind of awkward. Anytime Reggie has to talk to another human being, well, anytime Reggie's on screen, really, it's awkward. But anytime he has to pretend to be having, like, he's just the most insincere guy, and that's why we love him. Is like the line of crap that is so fake that he puts out there. But I don't remember what the president's name was. But it's just like, hey, great game you've got here. I can't wait to play it on Nintendo Switch. It's like, yeah, very natural, Reggie. Just two guys having a chat. And then he's like, oh, let me patch in our friends so they can get in on the news. And then he's like, okay, now we're live. And I'm like, wait, how were we seeing this conversation before you patched us in? It doesn't add up, Reggie. But whatever. I don't like, who are they appealing to? Because it's not a children's game. And certainly people Diablo aged are not going to appreciate some sort of stupid children video like that. I don't think they think these things through.
I don't know. I'm just thinking of the Forbes thing. I mean, they've got to be more interested in anything that they perceive will affect, financial and business end of it.
But
I don't know if that would be the same,
They used to sometimes try to whip a little bit of that in there, but now I think it's just clicks. Clicks is dollars, If it makes dollars, it makes sense.
Well, you gotta wonder.
Because they're getting ad revenue off those clicks. So
we gotta wonder how those sites are doing. If there's a lot of people visiting them, if maybe their business is down, it's like, we gotta get a video game guy in here.
Yeah. Remember, first and foremost, Forbes is a magazine.
That's true.
And no magazine is doing well. Can you imagine how outdated a magazine about wealth and stocks is? It's like that's instantaneous. That's like you just go on the internet and there's your updated stuff. You don't wait for a magazine to come out to tell you what stock's going to be hot.
It's all those doctors' offices keeping them in business with their 3 subscriptions to their magazine.
Yeah. Like, hey, do we still need to stay subscribed to Forbes? Well, we have been for 30 years. Yeah.
I wish they would put their video game articles in those, so if you're in a waiting room somewhere, it's like,
oh, there you go.
I can actually read about something.
You should write a letter to the editor of Forbes, and I bet you'd get, or an email.
I bet I'd get a response.
I bet you get a cute little response back, even if it's just a form letter. You're like, anytime I go to the dentist, I notice your magazine just sitting there in completely untouched form. However, if you had totally awesome articles on video games, I would take a look.
Did you add a video game column to your magazine?
Yeah, you might as well. Your whole website's just video games now.
Oh, wow.
That'd be good.
That'd be a great job to have. That way you could tell everyone, I work for Forbes. They're like, oh, he must be, in on the financial information. And it's like, people that think that's dumb, you say, I write video game articles.
Based on crap I saw on Reddit or Twitter. But apparently they do get information because they had that information from Nintendo. So that must be one of the sites that Nintendo shares information with.
I wonder if they have a booth at Gamescom. That'd be brilliant. Or just meet a guy and it's like, oh, you're here covering this for the news. What site are you with? And they're like, I'm with Forbes. That's why you're the only guy in a suit here.
But anyway, Diablo also requires Nintendo Online. And it's got some Nintendo stuff thrown in. Or not Skyrim-ish style.
Yeah. Yeah, the other big thing was that Link's gear. There was like some prototypes of that shown, and people were really excited for it. And they're like, "No, wait, that's not in the game. That's just something we were working on before the game was actually ready for release or whatever."
We were just showing you what we could have done.
Yeah.
Yeah. A little mean.
But there is some Ganon stuff in there, right?
I do believe so. There was, I don't know what all the things are, but there was like 4 things listed.
Some cuckoos.
You can have a pet. Yeah.
Cuckoo.
Cuckoos.
Some chickens.
Zelda chickens are in the game.
There you go.
Cuckolds.
Zelda chickens that are named after a cuckoo thing. Anyway.
So there's that. I don't think any of us are really interested. Max might be.
Yeah, a little bit, but I'm so busy with Fortnite. I wouldn't play the pad.
Do you have some of the previous games?
No. That's probably why I'm not interested in it.
When I was growing up, all my nerd friends were into Diablo 1, and then like when Diablo 2 came out, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And they played the crap out of those. So
the big hook in that was to like collect gems and stuff to upgrade your weapons. Was that it?
I don't know.
Go into the dungeon and
it's some sort of dungeony thing. I remember. I think it was an overhead view back then, but I'm sure it's better now. Maybe not.
I don't know.
I just remember them. They used to run scripts on it, so the computer could play it by itself, and they would just sit in front of their computer all night drinking Mountain Dew, watching the computer play the game on its own, so that they could get XP.
That sounds wonderful.
I'm like, why do you do this? Like, how are you getting enjoyment out of it? I guess that was Twitch before Twitch was around.
That sounds like Pokemon Quest.
Yeah, I was like, let's watch it. But it's sort of a big game, and Blizzard, people have been saying since Switch came out that Blizzard should put like Hearthstone on Switch, because that's like a mobile card game that's pretty big. So like that might, at least that relationship's open now. Did Blizzard also do the South Park game? Was that Blizzard as well?
I don't know.
No,
it wasn't. Okay, I don't know why I was thinking that was. That's Ubisoft. That's right, because it's on sale right now. If you can hear this, Ubisoft might still have a sale if you're listening close to when it came out.
Ironically, I might pick up something like Warcraft 1 if it was there just for a nostalgia buy, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll release their older catalog stuff, but I know they did say it was possible that Overwatch could run on Switch, which would be a huge thing. Like the Switch is a nice platform for stuff like that, because everybody else might be over Overwatch by now. But like then you can just tap into a brand new audience. You know, it's just like, I'm sure like I was with Rocket League, like now I'm kind of burnt out on it, but I was really into it, and that was probably a nice surge for Rocket League. I'm sure that's one of those games that people play it really hard for so long and then are kind of done with it. So it's like the Switch is like a whole new audience that you can tap into to kind of prolong the life of your game now. So the thing is, I don't understand why they put out something like Diablo as their feeler. It's like when Rockstar put out LA Noire. Like, let's see how well this game that not too many people have any interest in does.
Well, this wasn't really.
Decide if we should put out something popular.
Wasn't Skyrim really their filler? Because I noticed that they mentioned that the same team that worked on
same team that did the port, but it's the port. But Skyrim is Bethesda.
Oh, that's right. Oh, excuse me.
So yeah, but it was the same team that did the Skyrim port, which is kind of funny because there was Legend of Zelda crap in Skyrim. Same company's doing the port, and now there's Legend of Zelda crap in Diablo. So
that is a neat parallel.
Maybe they were just like, we were going to put the Zelda stuff in Diablo, and then we decided to put it in Skyrim instead. So Link went to Skyrim. We'll put Ganon in the next one.
It was pretty interesting. They did comment that it only took them 9 months to port this game, They did work with another company, which is Iron Galaxy, which is the company we were just talking about.
Yeah, that did the
So,
Skyrim. Well, Max has played Skyrim a little bit on Switch. Not much lately.
No, Fortnite.
But it was fine, right?
Yeah, I didn't have any problems with it. Had the same glitches as on the PlayStation and that's on the Xbox.
Yeah, that's one of those things Skyrim is famous for, is the glitches that Bethesda refuses to touch. That's why I was so surprised that they did anything with Doom. Because like people have been complaining about Skyrim having the same glitches for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not authentic if it doesn't have the glitches.
I guess so. But Doom, they fixed the glitches and they added motion control. So we'll see. I don't know. Anybody other than Max pumped up for this in any way? Exactly.
No.
Somebody is though. Like I said, these are ones for people who already had it on some other thing and now they just want to play it while they poop. Or in the car. I guess. Or while they're pooping in the car.
That'd be a very unique user base.
Well, you probably have to have one of those. Probably need one of those Fred Flintstone cars to pull it off.
That'd be a great commercial, though, for the Switch.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway,
I was gonna thought you were saying
the new Labo vehicle.
New feature for the cars because your seat has got extra features. Actually, wasn't there a Honda ad that had something going on where they were playing Super Mario Brothers 3 and no one could figure out what the system it was running on was?
Yeah, that was. Did we talk about that? Was that last week?
Yeah,
I don't remember if we did talk about it or not.
We didn't talk about it.
Yeah, like which I still don't know if there was a license involved in that or if they're just like we're gonna show a Nintendo game in our car commercial and let them sue us. But yeah, they were playing Super Mario 3, but they were playing it with a Super Nintendo controller that appeared to be wireless, but it was supposed to be showing off that the new Honda can hook up stuff through HDMI. So it's like, well, that would make you think that they were using a Nintendo or Super NES Classic, but then they'd have to be using like an 8-bit wireless controller or something.
Well, they were saying it could have been a Super NES Classic, but Mario
that doesn't have All Stars on
it. You'd have to have an added ROM in there somehow.
Yeah, but they could be using the NES Classic and the Super NES 8-bit controller, because I bet that would work with their wireless thing.
Or if it had a wired controller, you can. I've heard they're completely compatible. You could put the SNES mini controller into the NES mini and just use that.
But it was a wireless in the thing, in the commercial.
It was wireless?
Yeah, I think so. That was the...
It's a very confused commercial.
It is. But like I said, what got me about that was like, did Nintendo get some money? Did they say, hey, we want to feature your Mario 3 game in here? Because like I said, if it was like a major studio film, you couldn't just be like, I'm going to show 10 seconds of a major studio film and not expect to get sued. So are they just like, we can throw up a video game because we don't care about rights? Or was Nintendo like, this is a great way to promote the Nintendo Online service, which is launching with Super Mario 3.
I feel like if there was some kind of partnership there between Nintendo and Honda, that there would be it'd be more vocal in the commercial, or there would be something,
or at least a little white line at the bottom that says,
Can you imagine
if trademark of Nintendo?
If it was actually some sort of partnership where you got your new, if it was a brand new Honda, it had the NES and SNES mini games catalogs built in to play on the screens at the back or whatever?
That'd be pretty sweet.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it would sell any cars, but it would certainly be an awesome feature.
Wonder how much a partnership like that would cost them per unit or whatever. Anyway, that's far afield.
It's always hard to tell with stuff like that because you never know who's really benefiting one way or the other.
All right. Well, our next topic is a bit of a strange topic. I don't think anyone was predicting this or even knew about it. But we got a new game or rather a new application coming to Switch. It's called InkyPen, which is a subscription-based comic reading app, supposedly having both comics and graphic novels. And they are selling it as their first worldwide media application. So it comes out this November for about $8 a month.
Well, we've been asking for months, like in years, really, since the Switch came out. Like, when am I going to be able to read comic books on this thing?
Yeah, and graphic novels.
And graphic novels. And finally, we saw Hulu come out, and we were like, man, when are we going to get comics?
That's
Here
right.
it is. No word from Netflix yet.
Yeah, I thought this was really odd, and it's even odder that they brought out it was the first worldwide app, and it's like, this is what you want to be? Your first app on the Switch?
Well, yeah, and like I said, the worldwide. What's the name of the Japanese thing? The YouTube for Japan. Do you even remember?
Oh yeah.
That we both downloaded and never used, really. Well, you used
Nico.
That's it, Nico.
Yeah, Nico.
So, I mean, that was Japan only. I think Hulu's just US only.
Yep.
So, this is one everyone can get into, which there's been stuff like that for years, like online comics. It's just weird that there's like 2 applications in the US for Switch. One is Hulu, one is comic books. Like, I'm not saying it's not nice. I'm just saying I'd like some other stuff first. Maybe prioritize a bit.
How did this one get through when they can't put Netflix on it?
Yeah.
And this is scheduled for November, so it does leave that possibility that Nintendo will announce other things between now and then. But it's claiming to be the first one.
Yeah. Well, that's true. I'm still thinking there's got to be a direct coming.
It's not focused on indies. Yeah. We've got half a month in September to think about it as well.
Yeah, the second half is when it launches. So
I figure that means direct in the first half.
How do you think they'll announce the second half of the, online featured NES titles that they're putting out there?
I'm almost starting to think they're just going to do a tweet and an update to their website. Like, maybe they won't do it direct. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
they usually do have one around this time of year as they start ramping up for holiday.
It'd be neat if they, actually geared it up as an event, say the, launch weekend or first month of launch weekends. You've got either all of the games if it's one weekend or 4 or 5 games each weekend where there's a competition to try to get it going and hyped. But I don't know. Maybe that's too much organization.
I keep expecting them to announce something for early adopters or for people who pre-order
6 months free for having purchased the Switch so long ago. Oh.
Something.
Free year for anyone who had made a Nintendo account prior to the service launching.
Which you've already had because you didn't need it.
Yeah. Because it didn't exist.
Yep.
And our beloved Nintendo app will no longer be. It's the Nintendo app on your phone is going to be worthless without the online service.
Yep. It's just going to be an icon, basically, I think.
Kind of like it is now.
Yeah.
Do you think anything's going to change the day and date when it launches? Is that icon going to come live?
No. I think it'll... I don't know. I really don't know.
Will there be some stupid thing that, like, you can push this button and it'll give you a Tanuki suit in the Mario 3?
No, I think it'll mostly be like you can log into the app and see more about the features of the direct service.
See your friends' scores in the NES games.
Online service. Yeah, there could be leaderboards. That could be interesting, I guess.
Not really, but kind of.
Kind of. It could be something.
It's something here that wasn't here before. Hopefully they give us more printable crap.
That's the best
Printable
kind.
box art.
Has everyone printed their new box arts for Splatoon 2 and put it on their cartridges?
Or their printable not greeting cards. What do they have? Like sibling day cards and Mario Day cards.
Back when Hyrule's Warrior released, there was some printable character sheets for a bunch of different Zelda characters. I thought about printing those out for one of my sons who would like them, but
what a waste of ink.
Never got around to picking up a color ink cartridge, so I didn't.
Yeah. That's common with some rewards. I know Disney's reward system does crap like that too. Every now and then they're like, free printable Mickey Mouse poster. It's like, you mean a JPEG?
And you know, there's somewhere somebody's printing all of those out.
Oh, yeah.
Has them framed in a room.
It's going to be worth money someday. This is limited edition JPEG from their website. Yeah, I don't know. I keep expecting that there have to do some sort of thing to be like, hey, Nintendo Online's like a mini direct or something. Like, here's what's happening. We got PAX coming up too. Is it next week? Or
I feel like it's true. They have been taking advantage of other events outside of E3 to announce things, but is that really something you want to announce at an event? I guess it could be.
Won't that really get people hyped? I mean, they always announce crap like it's the first time you've ever heard of it. And you and I had talked about, we've been seeing a lot of promoted ads on Twitter advertising the Nintendo Online service.
Yeah, it's like tweets from Nintendo about it. It's like, why am I saying this for the
They're paying money to tell you that sometime in the second half of September, their online's going to... like they're paying for ads on something that they can't even give us a firm date on yet.
But that's a step forward.
And on top of that, the biggest, their big news piece that they're trying to hit us with is, oh, look, we're going to start charging you a fee soon.
Yeah. They haven't really hit home any like strong features other than you can't do anything without it.
Yeah, I hope there is some kind of direct. I feel like something this big needs a direct. It needs Reggie or somebody up there telling you how wonderful this is and how much a part of your life is going to be.
Yeah, they haven't tried to sell us at all on it.
Well,
they're just like, buy it or else you're not going to be able to play Splatoon 2.
Well, when they announced it, they really got a lot of backlash from it. So maybe they're really making sure they're getting it straight before they come out, but I don't know.
You'd figure everything would have to be pretty solidified by now.
You would hope. You would certainly hope.
Or maybe they're just hoping everybody forgets about it and, that it doesn't make any waves except that people start paying.
That's probably it. I think they can pretty much count on everybody with a Switch for the most part, or 90% of people probably subscribing to this, I'm sure.
Now, unless you are a fan of just, the single-player games that don't feature online or don't do much of it. If all you play is Mario Odyssey and the Breath of the Wild and, Shovel Knight and stuff like that, then you're not going to need it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Or people might hold off until there's something that they want to use it for.
Right.
But hey, if you want to keep playing ARMS, you have to get that online.
That's right. All those ARMS players, I'm sure they're worried. Both of them.
Yep.
All right. We'll keep on rolling here. Got a kind of an interesting list Nintendo has released, showing the top 30 most downloaded, or rather best-selling games in North America via the eShop. Of course, number one.
Just for July, or up until that point? Okay.
Just for July 2018. So, number one game. Any guesses? I mean, of course, it's what we've all been playing.
Is it free?
It's free to play, so of course it's Fortnite.
Yeah, I would almost bet you that's their biggest revenue maker too right now.
I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, it's a fairly new release. It's free. It's going to be up there.
Yeah.
Of course.
Is number 2 Fallout Shelter? Oh.
No, number 2, surprisingly, is Octopath Traveler. Of course, it's had a lot of, been in the news a lot, been very popular. So
a lot of people couldn't get their physical versions, so I guess they went to the eShop.
That's right. And then number 3 is Hollow Knight, which is, I know, something some of us were kind of interested in, but
yeah, I'd like to play it at some point. Yeah.
And we've got Minecraft is at number 4. And let's see, Splatoon 2 is at number 7. Surprise Sonic Mania is number 8. That game is still getting downloads. Rocket League is 10. Fallout Shelter.
Stardew Valley has been on these best-selling lists for a long time.
Yeah, that and Overcooked.
Yep. I think Overcooked was finally starting to settle down some. It's down to number 19 for July.
But now there's Overcooked 2 to look forward to.
That's right, and it'll dominate the top list forever. But anyway, I assume everyone has had a chance to look at the list. Anything else stick out as unusual?
There's just a few things that I was a little bit surprised at the order of. This did better than that sort of thing. But nothing too major, no.
All right, so I guess we should just keep on rolling then. So, roll on.
Like, for example, a quick example there would be Captain Toad placed just ahead of Mario Kart 8. Or Super Mario Odyssey for that matter. I was a little surprised. But then again, it's more recent release on there. Yeah. So.
But it's very un-Nintendo-like to even share information like that with us.
Yeah, I don't really know what they're going after. I'm sure they had a ulterior motive here for sharing this.
They're getting like 20 or 30% of Fortnite. They want you to go get it now.
I just realized Overcooked 2 is already on this list and is at number 30.
There you go.
Yeah.
Did it come out at the very end of July or something?
Probably. And I bet you for August, Dead Cells is going to be on there.
Any list like this, it's a way for them to get more advertising for what their popular games are.
Well, they've added that featured section to the eShop now, too. Where when you go in there, I think Fortnite's the second game that they show in there. Octopath might be the first.
Yeah. It's working. And it's interesting to see older games still in the top downloads, to know that people are still picking those up.
Well, Sonic's got I don't know if it's already, I guess it's already out, maybe, the update.
But random point of note, Overcooked 2's release date was August 7th. So that must have been, did they offer it for pre-order or pre-download or whatever they call it?
Must have. Wow.
I guess.
I've been seeing that a lot lately too, where they'll have stuff on sale as a pre-purchase discount, like of 10% or something, just to get it on the sales page.
Interesting.
I've seen that on new releases. I don't remember seeing it specifically as a pre-order, but it could be.
As far as I can tell on Overcooked, it was just more of the same anyway.
Yeah. The Switch did get a exclusive character for that or something? I think all the other platforms did as well.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, wasn't it a platypus or something?
Platypus chef, yeah.
If that doesn't excite you in and of itself, I mean, check yourself for a pulse. You may be dead.
Would it help if we mentioned it's duck-billed?
It's duck-billed. That's right. Anyway, I think we need to move on.
Probably Jason's favorite mammal.
It hasn't been, but it should be.
But yes, move along.
All right, so the other big rumor from the past week, and it's received a lot of speculation, new Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe. Some people are saying it's coming. So there was apparently a Japanese listing at some point for this game coming to Switch. and I don't know. I've seen box art mock-ups of it. What do you guys think? Is it legit? Are we getting another Wii U port?
I mean, it sounds like October to me.
It sounds like the type of thing they could bring over easily. I don't know. For some reason, it's not the one I would have picked. If I was going to bring over another Mario game, one of their older ones, I would have brought over the Mario World first.
But
I guess
that might be competing in the same space with Odyssey, maybe.
Maybe.
I just think it's a really odd choice. I mean, people have said this is trying to honor the Super Mario Deluxe from the Game Boy Color era, but do they really want to bring a Switch title that has the U in the name, as in being kind of blatant about it? You know, this is a Wii U port coming.
Yeah, you're not going to hide that easily.
Yeah, but they can't really hide that with any of the stuff that they've already ported, Mario Kart and Donkey Kong.
No.
But none of that says Wii U in the title.
Yeah,
U in it.
Or U, yeah.
This is a game that I never picked up, never tried, but I toyed about it, and when I toyed with the idea of getting it, it was when they did a physical release for the Luigi version, which was like half the price.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So depending what they do for the price point, most of the sites I've seen sort of assume they're going to be including the Luigi U and maybe other content.
Yeah, I'm sure they would.
In the package. But, yeah, I'll be interested to see what they do at the price point on this.
Maybe they'll add Toad as a bonus.
Wasn't Toad already in this? Maybe not. I never played this on Wii U. I adopted it a little later. I adopted it Mario Kart. So I missed this one. Anyway. So
Captain Toad originally came from mini games in Super Mario Brothers U. Yeah.
Okay. So there we go.
I thought it debuted in the other one, in the Catsuit Mario World.
Oh, you're right.
What?
No, I'm totally mixing those
Captain
up.
Toad?
No, he's correct. It's 3D World. I'm mixing them up.
Yeah.
Is this just a 2D Mario?
New Super Mario was the pack-in for a long time after Nintendo Land was, though, for Wii U. But
yeah.
And who was the fourth character then if it wasn't Toad?
It was two colors of Toad, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say that. Wasn't there a blue Toad or something?
Oh, yeah, and a yellow Toad.
I thought that was on the Wii, New Super Mario Brothers Wii or whatever.
It's such a unique experience. Even we can't remember.
There were definitely playable Toads, and then they had the playable, that little robber dude was also
Nabbit?
playable.
Nabbit.
Yeah, Nabbit. I think
Everybody's favorite. When's Nabbit going to be in Smash?
Nabbit later.
He was already in Smash, wasn't he? Wasn't he in Smash Wii U?
Oh, that's right. He did have a. I think he did have a
assist trophy.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at the box art right now there was like a Toad with an acorn head on the box. I didn't play it a ton, but yeah, it looks like blue Toad, yellow Toad.
Mario and Luigi.
It says up to 5 players. And Yoshi was in that one as well.
But the fifth player had to use the pad and basically drew blocks.
Was that one? I couldn't remember if that was that one or if that was the Wii one where they drew the blocks, or maybe they did them in both.
Would you have to draw the blocks with the Wiimote?
I thought it was like an on-screen cursor thing.
Yeah, I think it did.
Maybe.
I think it did have that.
See, it's such a iconic title. But yeah, it does say using the gamepad, a player can create boost blocks out of thin air. They're probably not hyping the Wii version very much on their website anymore. But from what I understand of the new Super Mario, like that's your definitive edition. I guess. What if they included New Super Mario Brothers, the DS version or something?
Yeah, as a bundle, I could see this making more sense.
Yeah, I don't think
New Super Mario Collection.
Yeah, the whole New Super Mario series in a bundle. I could see that. The other
I
thing
don't know how much it required the second screen on those.
Here's the other
Probably
thing
not a ton.
is, New Super Mario Brothers U, I could very easily see, like, remember, other consoles give you free games every month. I could see this being that. This could be like the launch title for the online service. If you sign up for the online service, you get this for free.
I don't know. I think Nintendo thinks their games are too valuable to give away something that big.
You know, I've been thinking about it. I think they've changed their mindset on that. With the minis and the fact that they're going to offer them like a Netflix style subscription service, they're not looking to monetize them game by game so much anymore. Right? I don't know. I could see them doing that, but go ahead.
Especially with older games, yeah. And like, PlayStation and Xbox have those things where you can get sort of newish games, where you can get them for that month's special download, so they could do stuff like that.
Then again, this might just be a dump that they want to get the new Super Mario Brothers title out there before they drop the Mario Maker, because then it won't.
There'll be no point. Yeah. There's no point to it anymore once Super Mario Maker comes out on Switch.
Which, when that comes out on Switch, it'll be a brand new game, not a port.
Of course not. Yeah.
There was one other listing that came up at the same time as this, and that was supposedly a new Toy-Con 04, which is the gun kit. That just sounds wrong to me.
There's no way. Nope.
There was something, though, in that first Labo commercial that looked kind of like a gun.
Kind of like
and
they
can make stuff with guns. They're not going to call anything a gun kit, guaranteed. Yeah. They just won't. They will not get into that. They will
cardboard
not go
zapper.
There. Well, even if they make a cardboard zapper, they're not going to call it a gun kit. They're that's just that Nintendo does not like to invite controversy ever, and that will, and they know it.
But they love being in the headlines.
Yeah, not for that. I don't think. We'll see.
No. I really don't know how much life Labo really has in it. If people are still interested in picking stuff up. They've been very quiet on the Labo front.
I don't know. It's a different sort of product. They've got sort of the staggered release. They've got some projects that people are coming up with for it. I don't think it's meant to be mass market. It's kind of a niche thing to begin with. So
yeah. Well, Reggie has said he expects it to be like a lifetime seller where it continues to sell okay throughout the entire lifespan of the Switch, but not necessarily sell 1 billion copies all at once. He likened it to Wii Fit U, which I'm sure sold gangbusters throughout the life of the Wii U.
Considering they were giving it away to anybody with Wii Fit for the first month or so.
Oh, speaking of giving away, what was Best Buy giving away? Don't they? Is it? Oh, I think they've got the Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle right now with when you buy a Switch.
Oh yeah, you're right.
We're starting to see stuff like that. Yeah, but I think the price is probably affected by it still.
And I don't think anyone has brought this up before in a podcast, but there were several games on sale for $45. I know Splatoon 2 is on sale right now. I think Walmart for $44 something.
Yeah.
So kind of interesting. There's a change going on.
Have we talked about the Aces bundle?
No, we haven't. There's
a 1-2 Switch.
That's right. There's going to be a couple new Switch bundles. One of them is Mario Tennis Aces, and 1-2 Switch, as Mo just said.
$360. So they're basically only charging you for Aces, I guess, and throwing 1-2 Switch in for free. It's downloads for both of them. But that's something. No special Joy-Con for it, though.
Do you think this is going to be their Christmas seller?
I hope not. But it might be the only way they're going to move copies of Ace. Although, I don't know. Tennis Aces has been, I guess, doing okay from what I've seen.
Yeah.
Just none of us bought it. But it's weird to see, like, that on the. They've had a Splatoon bundle, and now they've got an Tennis Aces. Well, I guess they did the Odyssey one for a very short time. It would have made sense to me for them to have the Mario Odyssey be like a thing for a while, or a Zelda bundle or something.
Yeah.
Zelda'd be a good one to throw in there now. That's been out over a year and a half. But yeah,
I don't know. I'm kind of wondering about Pokemon since they have the Pokeball Plus now. I would think that would be a natural pack-in bundle thing that they could do to sell to move copies
of all.
But since they've already got kind of a game bundle separately, I don't know if they will do that.
Yeah, I think I've heard that they're going to be bundling that with the game, so I don't know if they would do that and with the console.
There's going to be so many of those in the clearance rack in a few years.
They sure will be. They'll live on at Target for many years. The other bundle, however, announced comes from Amazon Italy. And I thought this was really interesting. It's a Fortnite bundle. You may be saying, Fortnite is free to play. Of course it is. There's just an image on the box that says, download Fortnite for free at the Nintendo eShop.
Yeah.
I thought this was brilliant advertising.
I say throw all the free to play. It includes Zen Pinball.
Looks
and
like
Pokemon Quest
for nothing. Yeah.
What if they throw in a Pokemon game as well?
It's just a very odd move. Is there?
Got to capitalize on that heat. That's the game everyone's talking about.
I wonder if this will be, just because it's such a strange thing, or seems sort of oddball at the time being anyway, something that'll be something that collectors will grab and hold on to.
That's a very good point. That would be pretty cool.
You also have to wonder, is anyone going to want that in 10 or 20 years? Like, man, I wish I had one of those Switches that had the Fortnite logo on the box.
Well, if you were selling a Switch and you had one that was plain box and one that came with a free game listed,
so. It's hard when it's the current generation to consider it as a collectible in the future.
It is.
For me.
Especially as they're talking about closing down shops and stuff like this, and you think about the future, anything that comes with a game which you have to download isn't going to be very useful.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bundles, by the way, there is one other bundle we need to talk about. It is not a Switch bundle, but it is a game bundle. Super Mario Party is now confirmed to come with the pink and green Joy-Con. Not the red and blue shown on the box, but the pink and green ones.
And if I'm correct, I think it's the reverse of the ones that have been released in the United States. It's the original left one's green and right one's pink, right?
Yeah, it was the left green one.
So
that's for Peach and Luigi, I guess? Or?
I think it's trying to get rid of some of those extra Joy-Con they got laying around. Would be my guess. But if you've got the North American pink and green, this will give you a set of green and a set of pink.
Yep. Do you know the price?
Yeah, that's what I don't know. I could try looking and seeing. I don't know if it's when's that one coming out. Are we not too far from that one as well? Is that their big Christmas winner?
I don't know. I don't remember. It's not a game I was very interested in, but if it comes out with it, it would be more tempting. Especially if it's like a free game with a pair of Joy-Con.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't even know if that was US available or not. Yeah.
No.
I'm looking on Best Buy. They do not show it with the Joy-Con. They show just the standalone game for $60. And actually, there's a yellow and a gray Joy-Con on the cover as well. In fact, the green and the blue are the only Joy-Con that are on the cover.
That's an odd choice, but that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's nice to to have another chance to get them, I guess. But yeah, I don't see this bundle, so I don't know if that's going to be exclusive to somewhere, and I don't remember if the price was affected or not.
Yeah, if you could get a free game with it, I mean, it would be if you're thinking about buying another set of Joy-Con.
What would you
Or
think
you
if
could
they
just pick
started?
up Mario Party Star Rush for $40.
You think there'd be a market if they started doing different textured Joy-Con? So you could get a stainless steel Joy-Con or a leather Joy-Con or
Probably,
like
but that all seems like aftermarket type stuff that people would sell. Chrome cover, but yeah, maybe. Like I said, Z was wanting some gold ones for Zelda that he never got.
But you got yellow ones for arms.
For arms, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And red for
Mario.
Odyssey.
Mario, that's true.
Odyssey.
So will we see more Joy-Cons for Christmas, do you think?
It seems like, I'm guessing that these things aren't flying off store shelves at quite the rate that they were expecting.
Yeah, it seems to have run its course to a degree anyway.
They're kind of expensive just to pick up for the sake of picking up.
Turns out when you give somebody 2 controllers for the system, they don't run out to buy more. And if everybody who has a Switch has 2, then there's all kinds of extras out there. But I still like my Pro.
Yeah. I keep thinking of picking up a 4th controller just in case we ever wanted to try 4-player Mario Kart, but I haven't got there yet.
Hey, here's your opportunity.
Yeah, especially if it's a discount.
Yeah, I'll have to look at some previews and see if there's anything in that Mario Party that looks appealing. Believe it or not, they've actually, every so often, we've actually gotten in a round of Amiibo Festival with a few family members, and it's been half enjoyable.
Huh.
Cool.
At least somebody's getting enjoyment out of that. Well, didn't Eric love that too?
I think so.
Yeah.
So, it's got its fans.
It's not frequent, and it's definitely if you have 3 or more people who want to play.
Yeah. What games do you have that everyone can play?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Bumpy's Party.
I don't think anyone has that game. I'm sure someone bought it, but yeah. Probably not.
Runbow. Yeah. There's some out there. Anyway.
Speaking of Amazon and Amazon listings, we should go ahead and mention, in case you've been taking advantage of this, the Amazon Prime discount for pre-ordering games and on new games is going away as of August 28th, which is a week from now of date of recording. So they're going to be doing a new program where it's $10 on select, a $10 basically gift card to you or credit to you from Amazon on select pre-orders. So it has a lot of rules and stipulations to it. So
Best Buy has something comparable, separate from the Gamers Club.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they do. They've always done that, even with the Gamers Club, where they'll have stuff where if you pre-order certain games, the games they want you to pre-order, they'll give you a $10 gift card. Although it almost always seemed to apply to PlayStation and Xbox, but very rarely Nintendo until the Switch came along. Then there's been occasionally stuff.
I know Target does that as well. Like if you pre-order and buy the little card for like $1, they'll give you a $5 gift card when the game releases.
Yeah. But then like Odyssey was a big title, but you didn't get that for pre-ordering it, but you got their coin. But yeah, it's sad to see it looks like they're just, now that Best Buy doesn't have their program, Amazon's like, well, why should we have ours?
And GameStop as well.
No matter what, they're going to pay full price, so they got a few options left. It's either us or GameStop or Best Buy. Or Walmart, I guess.
If anybody should be happy about it, it should be
Amazon? Jeff Bezos? Oh.
I was going to say Nintendo because it's becoming less and less of a reason to buy physical games and not just download them.
Yeah.
There's no incentive not to go ahead and get them online.
Right. Who knows? Behind the scenes, maybe Nintendo and other publishers were the ones putting this pressure on.
It could be. It could just be the industry as a whole, too. Just kind of going away from in-store physical sales, brick and mortar type places.
But then the problem with the Switch is it's minuscule hard drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they need to do something with the memory if they're taking that model long term.
Yeah. Oh, and there was a recent meme this week of everyone rumoring that the Switch was going to get a refresh in 2019 and bigger hard drives and everything else.
Yeah, it's
I don't know
basically.
where it came from.
Yeah, I don't know how that started. I know some people we know were believing it. It's like, this has to be true, and it's like,
Yeah, I saw several of them. None of which I would say were credible.
no, because they sounded good at first, and then they kind of ran into some interesting additions.
Especially since the Switch doesn't run a hard drive in the first place, just flash memory.
Does it? I don't know.
That's how they keep their energy use down.
Yeah, there's no way you can shove a hard drive in that thing.
Did not realize that.
Well,
yeah, it's all solid state.
One of the things I saw was that the Switch is going to include 5 pounds of marijuana. So, if that turns out to be true, I might pick up another one. Especially if it's still only $300. Yeah. Be nice to see a refresh, but it'd be nicer if there was something to play on it.
Yeah. I would rather see some more new games.
But you never know. I think there's been rumors that more big third-party titles will be announced. I mean, they did it. We haven't really. I don't think we talked about Doom Eternal.
No, we haven't.
But that was Bethesda's announced their new Doom game. Or did we talk about that last week? See, I'm getting old. I think we may have, but they're expecting it to come out at the same time. So
or close to it, right? But
I'm still waiting for GTA. That's the one that'll say we've arrived. I guess we did talk about that last week because
we did.
They had mentioned that it's becoming like a first class citizen, and Blizzard had said with Diablo like they wanted to bring it to Switch because that's the system that people in the office play. Which it must be nice to work at a video game company because they probably don't have a problem with you bringing your Switch in.
That would be nice.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you're researching, right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of research I'm interested in doing.
I'd like to know what they're all playing.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure everybody's played Zelda, but yeah, I think I've heard a lot of people say that like especially people, well, like you, Z, that play a lot of Steam stuff, like that once the games come to the Switch, they like the option of having those Steam games on their Switch, like the little indie titles and stuff that maybe that they missed out on the first time, like Hollow Knight that they heard about but never picked up, and now they're like, well, it's nice that I can just kind of pick it up and put it down and pause it at any point. And, I've heard a lot of people say that they like the Switch as an indie thing, which is good because there's plenty of indie stuff.
I'd imagine it's nicer to play a lot of those games on a, sort of handheld console as opposed to a keyboard and more convenient.
Yeah. You can always hook up a controller to your computer, though, too.
You can. It's just more overhead.
Yeah.
And
it's nice having an all-in-one system with a nice library like that.
And most people's computers are not in their living room. So if you wanted to play the Switch outside of wherever your desk is, nice for that.
Well, yeah, and like they said, people are playing them at work. Like, nobody's playing their Xbox or their PlayStation at work because they can't.
I've seen plenty of stuff on Twitter about people just saying like they bring their Switch to work and on their lunch break will sit and play it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
So it's a nice casual system to have. It's the best system as far as having the highest quality games in a portable form since the beloved Vita that nobody had. You got anything else tonight?
Yeah, there was a topic I wanted to sort of wrap up with sort of a bigger topic and something we've kind of touched on here about wanting things to help the Switch sell. So recently I saw 2 different articles come out about predicting the future of the Switch's sales and getting towards Nintendo's goal of 20 million units. So Michael Proctor, video game industry analyst, who apparently is kind of infamous for his predictions among the video game community. I'm not real familiar with him.
Yeah, people. There's a lot of people that don't like him.
Yeah. But his theory is Nintendo has sold 1.8 million units in the first quarter, and he's predicting by the end of their fiscal year they will have sold around 8 million total units. However,
that sounds optimistic to me.
Well, after I read this, like the very next day, Max sent me an article, and the Japanese analyst Hideki Yasuda is saying he predicts the Switch will surpass the 20 million goal and sell around 25 million units in the next fiscal year, this current fiscal year, rather. And kind of what he was basing it on is parts manufacturers he did acknowledge that parts manufacturers are saying production is down for the Switch, which Nintendo denies. But he still believes it's on track to surpass that 20 million mark because there's going to be new games and more interest, basically.
And the fiscal year goes through March, right? Of next year, too. So
that'll probably
they've got some time.
And that,
but
if you go right in the middle of these, it's 16 or 17.
Yeah. I guess we don't know what the Smash effect is, but we've seen the Smash effect on Wii U.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And assuming that guy's 1.8 in the first quarter is accurate, which I don't know where he got that from. I can't see just multiplying that by 4, 2 million times 4 gives you 8, is going to be a great estimate because usually your highest sales come in the fourth quarter. Holiday sales. With new releases and stuff, which there wasn't much in the first quarter.
But now we've got the strength of Tennis and Donkey Kong and Captain Toad.
Yeah, as we pointed out, that first quarter, the first quarter, what came out the first quarter? Nothing. Or the second quarter, for that matter.
Labo.
Labo didn't come out until second quarter. Yeah. Labo was announced.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Hundreds of indie titles.
Yeah, Bayonetta is the only thing that I can think of that came out first quarter. Donkey Kong didn't even come out first quarter.
I don't think so. It was close, but no, there wasn't much.
So I mean, yeah, the first quarter was when we were bemoaning how there was jack shit available for the Switch forever.
Has anybody bought any physical games this year? We're now in
Street
August.
Fighter.
I've bought 2 physical games this year.
I guess you bought Labo.
Yeah, I bought Labo and then I double dipped on Breath of the Wild.
Oh, there you go.
If that counts.
The last physical game I bought was Dragon Quest Builders.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah. And was that last year or was that this year?
I don't remember.
I can't even remember.
I think
it might have been this year.
I'll have to look up the release date. This is sad.
I'll say about April or May, but
see, that's one you could probably sell used. You're done with that. You've had your time.
Well, it's gonna have transfer data to the game. So, yeah, that's Max's cat telling us when the release date was because the cat remembers.
Max tested cat approved.
It came out February 9th, so that was last fiscal year.
Okay, yeah. But that was at least this year. So, it seems like the drought continues. There's not a whole lot of compelling stuff unless people were just waiting for Smash. Because now you've got a system with a new Zelda game, a new Mario game, a Mario Kart game,
a Pokemon
game, and a Smash game. So if you were somebody that was on the fence, maybe, and we're like, I'll pick one up, but just not this year, and well, maybe now this is the year where you're like, I guess come Christmas time I'll pick it up. But I would hope that they would have some sort of compelling holiday thing, I expect them to give away the online service. I think as something maybe
more compelling than Tennis Aces and 1-2 Switch.
I would think so. I mean, 1-2 Switch seems like a cool pack-in until you read any review ever of it. We would have been glad to get it at launch.
I think that's only going to appeal to people that are just buying a Switch and it's like, hey, I can get it with a game. These people that are buying for their Christmas.
Right. How many disappointed children are going to open up a Mario Tennis Aces Switch? Well, it came with a Mario game.
Is that better than an ARMS Switch?
Probably. I don't know.
No, I would say no.
Oh.
Z, you're our expert on ARMS. Is this a better deal?
You need 4 Joy-Con for 2 kids to enjoy ARMS.
Oh, that is
I guess you're right. So this could be. I mean, this seems like it's probably. I mean, I'm sure it's fine game. Aces.
I thought it was very.
I wasn't wowed by the demo.
No.
Yeah.
I think I heard something somewhere that they're planning DLC for it or some sort of extra content.
I think they're going to do DLC on everything they make from here on out.
Yep.
I'm still waiting for Odyssey DLC.
I didn't hear if it's going to be paid or not, but.
Well, we have had Odyssey DLC, all those outfits.
Well, yeah, I guess so.
And Luigi's Balloon World.
That's right.
But I'm expecting paid DLC. But maybe they won't do it. Maybe they'll just throw everything into a sequel.
They're waiting for Halloween and all those boos are going to show up.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the booze. Anyway. 20 million. Does anybody think they're going to hit 20 million?
I really think it's going to be the smash effect, as you say. I think they will sell after Pokemon comes out, even though I don't think any of us are interested, and some of the more hardcore players are not. I think there's still people that's going to buy it for playing a Pokemon game regardless.
Yeah.
And people with kids that say, I want to play the new Pokemon game, when they start pushing that more, I think they'll sell there.
People who think it's a mainline Pokemon game will buy it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, nobody else.
And I don't know. I don't think this Daemon X Machina or whatever, Machina, whatever it is, I don't think that's going to move anything. But Fire Emblem might. They really need to play that up. They need to try to bring that Fire Emblem Heroes crowd in. I think that might sell some systems.
Yeah, obviously Fire Emblem's doing pretty well mobile-wise.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that would fall into fourth quarter of this fiscal year, I think. I hope.
Hopefully they don't change the whole game to make it more like the mobile game.
Oh.
Like they're doing with Pokemon.
That was my first thought as I was saying that. That is not a good idea.
But yeah, well, I don't know why they don't whip some of these onto the Switch just for whatever. Throw some of their mobile games on. Put Super Mario Run on the Switch. Put some games like that. Just small things just to have them there. I know they're keeping it separate.
Yeah, they're wanting to make it its own pillar. So I think
if they do a new mainline Animal Crossing, they'll bring over some mechanics, streamline the fish catching like it is on, whatever.
That's a terrifying thought.
I don't know.
Well, yeah,
I'm really afraid. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'm really afraid that they've seen Pocket Camp as a success, and they're going to say, this is what people want in an Animal Crossing game.
Yeah.
No, because they said, what's it called? Fire Emblem sold, 6 times more than Super Mario Run and 9 times more than Pocket Camp or something stupid.
Yeah.
Like Pocket Camp obviously did not very well. And again, as far as bringing these, I think we all expected them to bring some of these mobile games to Switch when we first heard about the Switch, but does anybody want any of these mobile games at all?
No.
I don't want them on my phone. That's why I don't have them. Except for Super Mario Run, I guess I bought deeply discounted, but yeah, I don't really play them. I mean, we tried them. I'll take Miitomo on my Switch.
Yeah,
I was just thinking
that's the only one I would take.
I was just thinking in terms of using them streamlined mechanics like they did with the Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean the fishing's not bad, the bug catching's not bad. They It's almost the same though, but
I kind of hope they
Easier not
almost.
to miss.
I hope they almost go a little more complicated for the Switch version, where it adds a little more interest. Maybe have some different techniques for catching bugs.
I just don't want like swipe your net with the Joy-Con.
No.
Or use the Labo fishing reel to go fishing. Like,
if they want to include that as an extra but not required, maybe.
Yeah.
But, we'll find out there's some trick that you can catch a coelacanth with a Labo fishing rod that you can't with a...
They always like to put some special Nintendo spin on everything. Just like how Reggie said with the online service. We can't just do an online service like everyone else. We got to have a unique Nintendo spin on it, which they still haven't really told us what that is. Hopefully the Nintendo spin was charging $20 instead of $60. Yeah. I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
If you spend $20 on the online service, and for every game that you meet some threshold in out of their 20 NES games, you get a $1 credit towards something you can use in the store to encourage people to actually participate in whatever online features they have for them. You could actually get back your fees towards, something. That could be interesting.
Yeah. I would like to see an achievement. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Z.
No, I would just, as soon as you attach any sort of monetary value to a game accomplishment, you encourage hacking.
Yep.
Yeah. Especially on a Nintendo platform. Yeah. I don't think they'll do that. But sorry, go ahead.
Not to mention this is the company who gives you pennies on the dollar for actually buying stuff.
True.
So they're not giving away full dollars anytime soon.
They would be giving you platinum coins on My Nintendo that you can redeem.
Yeah,
that I wouldn't be surprised for it to make certain achievements on the NES games and whatever. I could see platinum coins as rewards.
Yeah.
Now, what if
it's been rumored to have achievements since it came out almost.
What if they did platinum coins, but you could buy themes for your Switch for platinum coins from My Nintendo, or things like that?
I think there had been some
anything of value with platinum coins.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's probably a rumor, but I know I did see something this week about them talking about the Switch launching with a new firmware when they do the online, and it possibly having some graphical changes. So maybe they will do everything up when this launches and say, now that you've got this online, you'll have access to our online wallpapers, or maybe you will get the wallpapers as My Nintendo rewards for being a subscriber. They've also said that they were going to have like discounts and stuff like that exclusive to members. So
they will give you. Oh, go ahead.
30% off of Overcooked.
Your little profile icon will now be animated.
That would be nice.
They couldn't handle that.
All of a sudden, everybody's winking at you.
To have an animated icon.
All right. So the official vote of the podcast is not 20 million, not in 2018, right?
I don't think so. No.
No.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna split it right down the middle between those two estimates and say like 16,000 maybe.
Yeah, unless they've got another rabbit to pull, I'd say it seems unlikely that they'll hit 20.
I'm
not even sure about 8.
I think they'll do better than 8, but I don't think it will be. I don't know that they'll hit 20 million.
Maybe 10.
Oh, they'll definitely be over 10.
I think it'll be closer to Z's estimate. I think we'll see 15, 18, maybe.
What did they do last year? 16?
Yep. Something around that might be doable.
With 2 huge games.
It's still getting a fair amount of, I don't know. You still hear about it. So I could see it repeating that.
And remember, we had supply issues last year that we theoretically won't have this year.
But as we've been saying all along, I think it all depends on how hard Nintendo hits this, they need to make it a home run for the rest of the year. They need to push this Smash really hard and keep the stock on the shelves and things like that.
Well, they've certainly been trying with the Smash. I mean, there have been some interesting announcements for it anyway, and they're trying to keep it in the news.
Yeah, and there will probably be more to come about that. Well, obviously, we know there's at least one more mode. God, do you think they're going to do another Smash Direct? Like, it's closer to like release.
Are they going to do a Pokemon Direct?
I would almost think that they would. They usually do, right? Yeah.
I think we'll get from that Pokemon Direct will be an announcement of a special demo for Pokemon leading up into the launch that we can play.
Yeah, they've done those for 3DS, so it would make sense.
I think they really need a good-sized demo to try and sell people on the new mechanics. Or maybe hide the new mechanics. Maybe they don't need to do a demo. I don't know which would be better. We do have one more topic. I have not forgotten. As we are accustomed to doing, we do, when someone buys new gadgets for their Switch, we always have a review. And Z has bought a new Nintendo gadget. A new board for old NES controllers from 8BitDo, right? I'll let you explain.
Yeah. I don't know when these came out. The one annoying thing I know is that all their previous stuff you could just buy on Amazon, like from their website. They have a link to Amazon. Now they sell it direct, or at least they sell these direct, and charge shipping and whatever and yada yada. But I picked one up for the original NES only because there's no good replica wireless NES controller out there that I've found. All of them have like weird extra buttons or just are cheap and have crappy reviews or whatever. So this one is, a replacement circuit board. So you just swap out the guts, but all the buttons, all the original rubber and contacts and everything are all the same. So it feels exactly the same as the original. It is.
Which could be good or bad.
Yeah,
because if you had a shitty controller to begin with, it's still going to be a shitty controller.
That too, and it also you're doing this to give this to somebody like, here's the original controller, and it's like, if you've worn out the D-pad, like this one, the one I'm using is one that wasn't one of mine because mine were way too beat up, but it's one that I kind of had gotten from my nieces over the years when they wanted to get rid of their Nintendo, and so it's got little scuffs on the D-pad, and it's 25 years old or whenever they bought theirs. So it looks it, but, if you've got one laying around that's in good shape, it's totally worth doing. This one's got little dinks and everything, but it works fabulously. The only thing that annoys me a little bit is I wish they didn't go with this proprietary plug on top. Because, if you lose the cable, you're SOL. You're not charging this thing unless you scare up another cable for it. It's some little
or
custom
buy another
plug.
one. Yeah.
Or buy another one. I don't see they sell the cable separate, but you'd have to buy a whole nother kit to get another cable.
Yeah.
You could probably hit them up for a replacement or something. But it's all their other products and any other devices these days adhere to some USB standard.
Micro or C or.
Exactly. So it's always something that you got extra cables for or whatever. It's, but this is something oddball, which is really the only annoying thing about it. I understand why they did it, but I think a better solution would have been, instead of trying to make it flush, right? Because it's basically they're putting it in where the cable used to go. So they only had so much room. It's not big enough for a HDMI or for a micro USB connector or whatever. But they could have just done a pigtail on this thing. You know what I mean? Like, that's one thing. When you're holding it, and I remember in the old days, you would put your finger up, and your finger would be resting on the cable, or you'd have your finger behind the cable, depending. Different people held it different ways, but the cable was part of how you held the controller.
Right.
So now with no pigtail on it, I just kind of put my finger there on top. It just feels weird. It doesn't quite feel right. I'd rather this thing had a little 2-inch cord hanging out of it with the regular USB connector on it to charge it instead of having this flush. But I understand why they did it. It looks really cool and it looks fancy and it looks all professional.
It's not as sleek that way.
Yeah, a pigtail would be a turnoff to some people. I understand that. But I think, you know, in terms of just general practicality, you'd be able to have a standard USB connector on it. And also just in terms of feel, for me, you know, as an old schooler, I'd rather have it that way. But this does the job. It does a really good job. I've played it with the Mini. I've played it, you know, I've messed around with it on a PC. And it's just like all their other controllers. You can sync it to half a dozen different things and it holds the sync. And, you know, you start it up by holding the B button and the start button to power it on. You know, it's just weird when it's, you know, this is an old Nintendo controller I've had tucked away in storage for 15, 20 years. And it's just, it's wild to have new innards. And now it's like a totally new electronic device, but it's still the same old controller.
And this is OG rectangle only. There's no dog bone yet, right?
No. Oh, yeah. Okay. So the ones they make, 8-bit dough, they make them actually. It's interestingly enough, it's a different board for the NES Classic controllers, but you can buy them for those as well. So they sell kits for original NES and Super NES controllers, and then NES Classic and Super NES Classic controllers, and then one for the Genesis, which I don't really. If I had an extra old Genesis controller floating around, I would totally pick that one up too, because that would be totally cool.
Genesis does what Nintendo
don't. But the Super Nintendo one, there's good replicas, 8-bit doughs, and I think there's even others, but there's good replica Super Nintendo controllers out there. So I'm not particularly motivated on that. I picked one of those up. But yeah, there aren't legit original style, you know, quality NES controllers out there. You know, the only ones I've seen on Amazon look super sketchy. So this, to me, is a good solution for a company that can't seem to be bothered to get licensing from Nintendo to do any of this stuff, or maybe Nintendo just won't. I don't know what the deal is, but it's a weird workaround to not being able to sell replica Nintendo controllers. Sell kits to let people make their own.
With the whatever it is, virtual console replacement that's coming out, now would be the time for Nintendo to get on board with wireless replacements, you know.
Yeah, now that
the Switch.
Now that I bought this thing and gutted one of my old NES controllers, not that I didn't keep the guts, but now that I've done this, I'm sure like next week Nintendo's going to announce, here you go, wireless NES controllers.
Bundled in for Christmas for the online service, free for you.
Yeah. It works great with the Switch too, but I don't. Right, aside from even Street Fighter, I need more than 2 buttons.
Yeah.
Overcooked, 2 buttons. I'm going to try it later.
Shovel Knight.
Is the weight?
Is Shovel Knight only 2?
I'm pretty sure.
I forget.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay.
Jump and hit.
Oh, you know what? I think Blaster Master Zero is the same way. I can try it with that as well. So yeah, we got some options on the Switch.
And maybe your Castlevania Bloodstained whatever game. I don't know. I haven't played that one yet.
Maybe. I think that one had used more buttons. I'll have to say.
Does it change the weight of it at all? Is it?
Oh yeah. Thanks for reminding me, because I had mentioned that to you earlier. It does. It's got to just be because it's got a battery in it. But it's you know, heavier than the original one was. You know, you notice it when you're picking it up and playing with it. But I mean, the flip side of that, it doesn't have a cable attached to it, so it's, you know what I mean.
Kind of
weight.
Out.
Yeah, the weight is kind of relative based on that. So yeah, it feels really good. Like I played, you know, I just kind of ran through a bunch of stuff on the Mini with it, played some Mario, played some Metroid, just like old favorites, and, you know, stuff that I know how it should feel, and it feels just like it should. I don't detect any lag or any issue with it. I'm using the little 8-bit dough receiver in the Mini. But yeah, as far as I can tell, it's I'm not frame by frame, obviously, on any of these, but at least as far as I can tell, it's every bit as good as a wired one.
Have you experienced anything with the battery life? Has it been pretty good, or?
I haven't. It says it gets like 6 or 7 hours on a charge. I haven't let it run down yet. I've been just kind of half throwing it on the charger. I just threw it in like yesterday afternoon. So I haven't really given it an opportunity to run down yet. But so far so good. Probably played with it for a couple hours without issue. And that was actually before I even charged it, really. Just out of the box, I played with it for a couple hours, so at least had enough, you know what I mean? It was at least halfway charged or so.
All right, so I know I'm not technically minded at all or feeling very confident about taking any of my games apart. How easy would this be for someone who has just never tinkered with their old games or had any...
Well, you guys, I'll refer to the 45-second video that I think you found and pointed out. It really is that simple. I had to rewind a part in the video at the end a couple times just because there's a little ribbon cable. It's kind of hard to figure out how you're supposed to kind of twist it so that you don't, mess it up when you close the thing. Yeah. But yeah, like I said, I just rewound the video a few times and kind of figured it out. Yeah, and it's 6 screws. Oh yeah, and it came with a screwdriver that didn't fit the 6 screws in the original NES controllers. Yeah, just totally wrong. Didn't fit. So fortunately, I had a little mini one. Yeah, exactly. Which all this 8-bit does stuff is.
I just wonder if they wouldn't correct it though. If you contacted them and say, "Hey, this doesn't work."
They were very quick to respond when I had a few because their site's gotten better. Their documentation used to be kind of Chinglish and kind of hard to understand.
I would imagine with them, the company's size and everything, they're probably pretty good with customer service. I would think.
I would think so.
Yeah, in terms of just being kind of a small to medium. I mean, they're producing hardware. So they must have, they must have a warehouse or whatever. But how big do you think they are then? Ballpark.
50 employees.
Yeah.
Yeah. Less than 100.
That's probably, I would guess, depending on what you count as employees. I don't know.
I mean, they just have to have an R&D and some support staff, and then they just throw everything else to the manufacturers in China.
Yeah, it could be like a dozen people, and the rest is outsourced. Yeah, potentially. So I don't know, but they were. I had a few questions because they said their documentation wasn't clear. It's gotten better, but they responded within minutes or an hour or two. I don't remember exactly. I just remember thinking, oh, that's quick. Because I do that kind of crap for a living. I think you sort of do too, Mo. So
yeah. We know good customer service.
Yeah. I don't know. I remember when I think back to my original NES controllers, I remember one of them always had a burr on the downward part of the D-pad. So we always used that as controller too, and it just was sort of avoided. I can't see wanting to ever change that into a updated controller.
Yeah, I remember always having there was something distinctive about what was your main controller and which one wasn't. It's like there was always some little mark on it or something where you're like, oh, that's 2P.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one, in my case, it was the one with the bite marks from the kid across the street.
Yeah.
Which I've still got, by the way. I thought about throwing the little mod kit in that, but I decided to go for a nicer one.
Yeah. Well, my last little hardware purchase was getting one of those car charge cords for our road trip, and the kids were quite happy to take turns playing the Switch in the back with that. They didn't have to worry about the battery running down as long as they remembered to get it plugged in quick enough.
So I actually got my first ever low battery warning on my Pro controller today because I usually play it plugged in, and I've not been plugging it in lately. So I was like, hey, this thing does run out of battery eventually.
Did you play with it plugged in on Splatoon?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe
Did that irk
usually.
you? That would irk me with motion controls, no?
Sometimes I don't know. I guess sometimes I might have disconnected, but for the most part, I used to leave it plugged in because it was close enough to the Switch that I've got a really long cord that I used for charging that. It's USB-C to USB. It's like a braided cable somebody gave me, which I usually
So it's
don't
a
go
nice
for the
soft.
cloth. I don't
So
usually go for the cloth
okay.
braided ones, but yeah.
Because like the one that comes with it is kind of a big stiff. It's
Plastic
not bad,
one. Yeah,
but it's not like if you play with it, it's annoying.
yeah. This one's softer, so it's not as big of a deal. But I just figure that way I don't ever have to charge it if I always leave it plugged in.
So, by the way, that said, Barry's charge cable for the car. Are we not afraid to charge our Switches with random shit anymore? Like I did mine when I did on my
this
trip.
one
And it
is
wasn't a problem.
a officially licensed, I think.
Yeah, mine was a Nintendo brand as well.
Oh, never mind. Mine was a random anchor brick. I just checked reviews on Amazon and people said it worked, so I went with it.
Yeah. Well, Anchor's making the official ones now, or whatever, or licensed ones now for Nintendo.
Probably the exact same thing I bought for twice.
Probably. Yeah. Just like the SD cards.
I still have a cable that I'm terrified to use. I just bought. So.
I honestly, I've plugged. I've not kept my Switch very pure. I've plugged in any USB cable I've found. I've never had an issue with it. I think it really was just the docks.
Cool. When I first got the Switch, I was just using like USB to USB-C cords that I just had laying around to charge it with like computers and stuff, and I never had any issue. But a lot of people didn't have issues till that firmware. So who knows? Stick with OG if you can.
Alrighty, and I guess that will wrap us up for the evening. Does anyone have anything else they want to add before we sign off?
Kitty cat.
Hey, did we hear shit out of Michael Pachter when Switch was doing well?
We heard stuff from him. I'm not familiar with him. I just know every time his name comes up, for some reason there's controversy involved, and I don't know what he's done to warrant or not warrant that. I just know I see people like, oh, it's Michael Pachter. I don't care.
Michael Pachter shits on Nintendo in general, and I know that, and that's why
it could just be the fanboys then that are disliking him.
But it does seem like I don't ever read anything from him when Nintendo's up, and I just read from him when Nintendo's down.
Yeah.
Well, he did say Nintendo wouldn't get any Western third-party devs originally before it came out.
But is Nintendo up or down right now?
That's what I know. Unknown.
Yeah, that's the thing is I think they're starting to slide, and that's why he's popping back up. But I just wanted to bring that up, is he had predicted that Switch, that there would be no third-party support for Switch, at least Western third-party support. I remember that quote. Do we think that's come to pass or no?
I really thought it would have happened by now. I mean, we do have Bethesda's
Western, well, yeah,
and Rockstar's got that one.
They don't. Does that really count? Does one game count?
Yeah, support. I mean, it's hard to say. It's like I really thought this was going to be the year, especially this time, like in September, October. I thought we'd just see the floodgates open and all these things that people have been working on, but maybe they're
Blizzard
still a little
Western.
sheepish on it. Yeah, I think so. I think they're California.
No, that said,
Does he have a friend that used to work there?
Where?
Or does work there? Blizzard.
Not anymore.
But that's U.S., right?
Yeah, they're a Western developer. That's true. But again, does one game count? That's a feeler.
I still get that vibe that they're putting out these fillers, and they're still like, maybe the Switch is okay, and it's like, haven't you decided yet? I mean, it's been out long enough. I feel it's proven itself.
That to me says they're not getting quite back the kind of dollars they thought they were going to get off it.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Like if it were a cold buy, they'd be jumping on it. And I think Doom must have done well enough. Go ahead, Mo.
Yeah. That's all I was going to say. Bethesda must Well, it's done well enough. They keep putting stuff out. They're putting, they put out Wolfenstein. They now do Eternal. So it's, I don't think they're doing Mario Odyssey or Legend of Zelda numbers, but they didn't do those numbers probably on PlayStation or Xbox either. There's probably a different of what's acceptable. Plus, it's easier when you've already sold 40 million copies on other systems to just chuck it onto another system and maybe you'll get another 10 or 5.
If it's easy enough to port and the profit outweighs the cost, then why not? I mean,
boy, that Panic Button has sure made a name for themselves. I never heard of those guys before the Switch.
Yeah, have they made a name for themselves anywhere besides the Switch?
I don't know. They might. Once Nintendo starts porting their software over to other systems.
Yeah.
They'll be the guys. I wouldn't be surprised if Nintendo doesn't hire them to do some stuff.
I could see them as a second party kind of thing. Yeah.
Nintendo should buy a Panic Button like they've done with other
like they did with Rare back in the day. Yeah, or I don't know if they bought them or they buy stake in them or whatever, but they make them a partner.
Like, you guys obviously understand our Switch in ways that we don't. So start porting some stuff over.
That would be good news, I think.
Yeah.
And they're talking about making their own games, Panic Button.
That's right.
Yeah.
So who knows where those could show up.
All right.
Well,
that's a show and a half.
Yep, that is. I guess we should close out. So, as always, thank you for watching. We appreciate your views. And as always, you can check us out on Twitter at NOA_podcast. You can hit us up on iTunes, also on Stitcher if you want to check out the podcast, or here on YouTube where we record. You're always welcome to leave a comment there. And as always, Twitch. Maybe we'll play again someday, by the way. You can check out some of our older videos there, if I'm right. Anyway,
maybe
I was looking for a confirmation there from our stream master. But anyway, thanks for watching and have a good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Party on.